Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
Hello guys, you're once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, your #1 political channel in Ghana and beyond. Today, I want you to join me listening to another banger that is happening in the political arena. Without much time wasting, I would like you to join me dive deep into what we have for you today. If you're a new member, you have not yet subscribed, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, like, and also share to other members to watch as well. Thank you. We'll be right back.
For you in 2025?
Yeah, maybe quite of a mixed bag. Of course, let's look at those negative ones first. Maybe a very good morning to your cherished viewers out there, and I'm wishing them happy festivities, and let's hope that 2026 will be better than 2025.
Right.
And so, as you said, yeah, I think it has been a mixed bag. We've had occasions of, some positives and occasions of negatives. However, even as we wish for more positives, we must not lose out as to those instances of instability, those instances of security concerns, some what will appear to be manipulated elections. And here I have Cameroon in mind, I have Cote d'Ivoire in mind, and so on and so forth. So, all said and done, Africa still needs to wake up. AU needs to wake up. I do admit or concede that in terms of the protocols that govern, countries in terms of regional or sub-regional arrangements, governance systems, there are limitations to the extent to which the body can intervene or interfere in whatever jargon you want to describe them in the affairs of a state. But I think the time has come for us to accept the fact that democracy is the best way for us to go. And for that matter, whatever principles and measures that we need in order to build true pillars of democracy, AU must wake up to that call.
Right.
So that situations where we have presidents like Paul Biya since 1986, I mean, the election there is just there's hardly any elections there.
Hardly even work.
It is well, I forget of the physical nature of the person in question, but even the system that elects him is very, very much questionable. They don't have independent bodies like electoral commission as we have here. Even in our case, despite the fact that we say that even independent, we know we still have challenges. Theirs is worse. It's more of like a Minister of Internal Affairs that organizes the whole elections. And you can imagine. Cote d'Ivoire, again, constitution was changed, system was manipulated. He feels that he just has to be there. I mean, the Uganda is also there, and so on and so forth. So I believe that these are areas that the AU must wake up. And of course, the biggest humanitarian challenge we have on the globe as of now is the situation in Sudan. Yes. Even though oftentimes we are concerned about what is happening in Gaza and so on and so forth, believe me, the humanitarian crisis in Sudan far, far outweighs any crisis that we went through in 2025. But we're talking of people in excess of about 22 million affected, both internal displaced or external displaced. And there are external players in all these things. I keep saying, sometimes when you look back and ask yourself, of the countries that go through civil wars, etc., in Africa, you can hardly find one of them having the facility to manufacture weapons. We know of Liberia, we know of Sierra Leone, for all the 14 years that Liberia fought. You ask yourself, the arms and ammunition that went into that small country, where did they come from? There must be outside players. And sometimes that is the dilemma that we confront as a people. And of course, the hypocrisy of the world. Take Nigeria also. As far as security is concerned in Nigeria, the situation there is also nothing to write home about. Particularly in the northern states, the 12 northern states, even though much more on the Borno northeastern side, and then go into the Sahelian countries, down to Mali and so on and so forth. Again, all these, criminal activities and banditry happening in these areas. Let's ask ourselves, what are the sources of supply of these destructive weapons being used against ordinary citizens? But at the end of the day, when systems are not working, that is where you have the constitution being manipulated. When systems are not well entrenched and working for the good of the country, that is where elections are manipulated. And so on and so forth. When systems are not working, that is how you have this kind of security situation you have in Nigeria, through to parts of Cameroon, Chad, and so on and so forth. So AU must wake up to all these calls. They must call out when necessary. You mentioned earlier on that a president is about 89, 91 years old. It's not only the president, okay? Go even to the judiciary, the chief justice, the speaker of parliament is just in that category. So you ask yourself, it's not the case that we are just calling out people of old age, but at least we're just asking that let's perfect the system, let's mobilize the system, so the machinery of state will actually work in the interest of state.
You cannot cut even age around that time.
Yeah.
Physically, you are not so much capable when it comes, your physicality as to perform such a functional office like a head of state. So sometimes it worries. And even back home here, people are even suggesting, you remember the CRC's report that pegged, the base age at 30. Others rather thought that we should have raised the ceiling to, let's say, 75. Okay, up to 75 years, put the ceiling rather than, pegging it at the base. Take it up that after 75 years, you can become the president of Ghana. That school of thought.
I think, these are matters that we can debate. And I think that it's not out of place to put on the table for discussion. But I just hope that we can work towards putting on the ground machinery of states that responds to the needs and aspirations of the average African. And what are they? Good roads, good health facilities, have jobs, well-paid jobs, and so on and so forth. It is the absence of these that is responsible for our brothers being, endangering their lives on the high seas, trying to migrate to, Europe and elsewhere at the risk of, their lives. So we can only hope that AU wake up this year. And we understand our president is AU chairman in waiting. Well, we don't expect a miracle just in 1 year. But if maybe certain policies can be put in place to start the process of revitalizing, energizing AU towards certain things. For example, look at this tendency of China-Africa summit, South Africa Summit, America-Africa, France-Africa. And I ask myself, it's like we just summiteering Africa. That's what I term it. It's summiteering. A whole continent of 54, 55 countries. You just go meet one sovereign countries, and you don't have a strategic, arrangement to do the bargaining. So we do it more or less in silos. Ghana will look at its own situation and negotiate with China. Nigeria will look at its situation, negotiate with China, and so on and so forth. So you have all these kind of,
In actual fact, they go and beg.
So, fine, yes, because
find it as begging.
So if we can come together as a unit, and then maybe AU takes the front lead and find a way that whenever there's even such a summit, it should be by representation. I remember the president of Kenya, Ruto, talked about it in 2022, but by 2023, he himself was there in Beijing attending. So sometimes we talk about this, but we don't even practicalize it. But so I think that AU must also wake up to that call. Yes, it's good as a continent to have all kinds of economic, social arrangements, security arrangements with various other sovereign countries. But let's do it in a manner that also respects and restores our own dignity. but not to be going in silos and negotiating individually. Sometimes you are even negotiating for a very weak position. If you are running an economy that is already in deep crisis, you can imagine when you go, what agreement can you negotiate with China on the table, or with US for that matter, or with EU for that matter. But if we go in as a bloc in a manner that recognizes our own situation and see what are our strengths, what can we stand on, and then what can we get in return, I think that would improve our lot.
The major setback with TOR has been mismanagement. You look at workers, up here, appraisals and the rest. What should government be thinking, in that vein, trying to get TOR to stay on board this time round?
Before we get there, firstly, let's commend management, of course, and government for whatever they have done to revive it. But we'll hold that commendation to a level. Because I share the school of thought with Solo that you see, when you use certain records as a point of reference, you are tempted to think that, we have achieved the ultimate. We haven't. That is because the immediate past has been a bit reckless. As a result, a bit reckless. As a result, when we see signs of relief, then we are tempted to think that we have reached the peak. We haven't. David, TOR was established in 1963. Even though that time it was Ghana Italian Petroleum Company. 1963. So if we are in 2025, probably we should be talking of 2 or 3 more TORs. That should be the standard. Of course, by 1970, Ghana government acquired 100% share and it became, So if by 1977 we had the thoughts to own a refinery, from that time until now, we should question ourselves, why haven't we added one? But of course, we are tempted to say, because some people helped kill it and it has just been revived, we have done something out of the ordinary. Yeah, we commend government for whatever has been done now to revive it, fine. But let the history also guide us. That for a place that we own as far back as 1987, for a place that was established as far back as 1963, and petroleum, we know how important petroleum is. It should be something that we should even have more of such. That's what history tells us. So now that we have opened a new page, yes, we commend government. We hope that leadership will sit up and whatever is necessary to sustain. Remember, before the last government left, TOR was about being sold for $22 million. $22 million. And yet, the first 9-10 months of this year, out of other operations aside the primary operation of refinery, TOR was able to generate about $20 million. So for a company that was to be sold out for 22, for whatever reasons, in a matter of 10 months, has been able to generate 20 million. So I was asking, okay, is it not right to actually ask some people to come and answer questions? But what were the parameters that were on the table for you to make that determination that that asset should be sold out? And that those non-primary operations that were undertaken for the current administration to be able to generate about 20 million, how come the previous management could not? And shouldn't we be hauling them to various investigative agencies to answer questions? There must be a reason. If we don't do all this, then we'll continue to repeat some of those pitfalls that we have experienced in the past. That in a space of 10 months, a new management has come, they were able to generate about 20 million. And yet there was a previous administration that was ready to sell that asset for 20 million. Just look at the difference. So probably, but for change of government, that asset would have been gone by now. It would have been off the books of Ghana government. So we actually need to wake up. Yes, to your question, sustainability is important. I believe that it is even about time the legislation surrounding sales of state assets should be tightened in a manner Yes. So because it's mind-boggling that an asset that was due for sale not long ago can generate, and now we are back to
profits.
We have even opened another page where it can, refine, crude from Ghana, and we know the importance of fuel as far as our economy is concerned. Anytime fuel prices are disturbed, we know how much noise we make in the country. So to the extent that we have the refinery now up and is going to be able to, process some of our crude, it's just going to be something that is going to be beneficial to the average Ghanaian consumer in terms of fuel and in terms of even all the goods that we go to buy in the market. So that is a plus. We can only hope that management and the current government will support them to ensure that TOR is able to stand on its feet, if possible, as we're hearing that the possibility of another gas plant being in the pipeline. Maybe it will not be out of place to have another refinery, right? Dangote today is doing well for Nigerians. That Nigeria that used to export so much, bring back, finished product at a higher cost. At least that cost is being, lessened now in Nigeria. So in our case, kudos to the management for whatever they have done, but sustainability is important and it's key. Let's see how we can sustain it. And possibly another refinery should be in place in the next 2 to 5 years. So I'll leave it to the experts.
So TOR is now informed 45,000 barrels per day. That's the current initiated stream. How do we make sure we keep it sustained, as Doug is indicating? And I also wanted to tackle the issues about mismanagement. That has been the bane for TOR over all the years. That has been the bane, mismanagement. Workers are prevailed, workers on strike, and it looks like nobody seems to care. To the ECG round first.
Oh, then I should have ended well on ECG.
The ECG. ECG, still on ECG. On Christmas Day when I left after the show, when I got home, I didn't have lights.
After I danced.
Yes.
Oh, I danced for him.
There was no light. The light came back around 8 p.m. in the evening.
No.
Yes. So I am not happy.
But you were not home.
I was home after the program. I had to get home, and I rushed home only to find out that I don't like.
That's too bad.
So the entirety of the Christmas Day, and it was deep. I'm told it went as deep into Adenta and beyond.
Wow. That must have been maybe a great issue. I mean, sometimes
distribution.
Yeah.
You are being asked to pay more, and even no courtesy. Just somebody to tell you, there's a problem. We're trying to work on it, and
that is one thing.
No information.
EC must be sensitive to the needs of customers. I can only hope that it's not going to be another environmental, and maybe this even reminds me. We should not forget of our Kweshi. I will come back to ECG. The city authorities must look at whatever is happening around Kweshi area. The natural environment is being disturbed. The mangrove is. There's so much development going on in that area. You just ask yourself, who is authorizing these structures? And that's how we sit down. We allow things to get bad, and then the solution become even bigger than, So yes, there's so much development going on in the Kweshi area. You ask us.
There's a territorial issue. There's this administrative boundaries between Lekma and Ladma.
Okay.
No. That land is La land. That's the traditional land owners. That one is not in doubt. But the administrative boundaries, the assemblies. Lekma and Ladma meet at that point.
At the bridge,
Yes, and so there's a grey area of who is responsible for what.
They are not finding their feet. They can't run the local government ministry. There has to be a solution to that.
So I think that the two must be made to work together to deal with that. Because that's
okay. So I tell you, it's just as we are complaining of ECG. I think that also ties in with how we address our environmental issues too.
Okay.
But there's a benefit to allowing the natural outlook to remain in order that we can, just as people living in that area. Else, we are going to disturb
the sea will come into the sea can come easily in because the mangroves prevent the sea coming and it purifies the water that goes into the sea. The sea rejects, but anyway.
So ECG, please pay attention to the needs of customers. Where there are challenges, I think that you need to inform customers. Now, this issue of not being able to buy credit, I'm wondering, are we using just one system? Is it the case that we have put all our bags in all our eggs in one bag? Are there not backup systems such that if a particular line of purchase is faulty, there should be an alternative route?
Or even this one affected the third-party vendors. Like going to buy from a vendor. When you walk in with the card, normally it comes with you can buy through your phone.
Yes.
And you can also use the card through a vendor. And when you get to the vendor,
that is not good enough. And just coming to just release an announcement and you are not giving a way out, you are not solving the problem. So if somebody runs out of credit in the house now,
you are stuck.
My goodness, that is not good enough. I think they should wake up. And like PD said, ECG is also be there with so many problems. We can only hope that we know the fortunes are beginning to change, but we need to do more. In terms of privatization, personally, I don't also support full privatization. If there's a way by which government can partner in foreign investments and look at critical areas where government can hold substantial say, at least in the interest of the customers, and then leverage it with, private investment in terms of, capital injection and so on and so forth, we can also look at that. But definitely, as it is being run now, the losses that are being talked about are so huge that it beats imagination. And all this as a result of human, actions. People are put in there to work. So why are we getting this kind of results? So if you are the head of such institution, definitely you need to wake up. And I believe sometimes it also goes down to some of the officers on the ground. They do certain things that may be unknown to, to the office. There should be a way to do better monitoring and so on and so forth. So at the end of it all, I think that ECG must put the needs of customers, paramount. It's one of our biggest assets, so we cannot play with it. Whatever is needed in order to let it run fully in our interest, I think the management and leadership must wake up to that call.
Yes, sir.
So electricity is an essential service. David came to work, went to the house, on to rest. Unfortunately for us,
Thank you for watching. PENDREAM TV really appreciate your time and say God bless you for the good work you are doing. We much appreciate your time here on PENDREAM TV. And if you really enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment below, like and also share to other members to watch as well. Don't forget to subscribe to keep you updated whenever you made a post. Thank you and stay blessed.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.